Chosen Sports here. We got me, my boy Mike Adele, and Dylan here again tonight. We're going to be talking about some NFL free agents. So we're going to be, going through the big names. We're going to see where we think they're going to land, any good potential landing spots. And we're also going to tell you some funny stories that happened with the J.J. Watt jersey Mike's wearing right now. So we over the weekend, were at Foxwoods down in Connecticut. We go to a sports store and we see these mystery bags that, they're marketing them for $80.
Supposed to be a mystery.
It's supposed to be a mystery bag, okay? Little did we find out, these fucking weasels.
I am weasels.
Okay? They packed all of the same fucking jerseys in the same bag, okay? They packed every jersey was the same. So we got 3 straight J.J. Watt jerseys, and we got random fucking autographs. Came with a jersey and an autograph, random-ass autographs. They all marketed them to be different jerseys and relevant players. And the kid that was selling them had the audacity. We ended up trading him in for Nick because the kid felt bad. We got 3 straight J.J. Watt jerseys. I'm selling mine. Mine's going on eBay tonight. Okay, mine's going on eBay tonight because they're not taking my money from me. It's getting sold. Dell took mine because he got an XL size I didn't even want. I was supposed to get a medium, and I got a large, so I got a wrong size too. And you know what? The kid had the audacity to say every time we opened the mystery box, he would just go, "Whoa." I wanted to slap his little fucking face in. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we got to get these off the shelf. Let's just put them all in the bags. Fuck them kids.
They never thought that 3 individuals would walk in and buy it at the same time. We fucking exposed them rats. And you know what they're going to get? They're going to get a nice Facebook review. And Chenny's going to put them on. I hope they sink tomorrow. We didn't even get a different color. They were all navy. Every single one.
Tell them about the rugby player you got in your bag.
It was a fucking football mystery bag. I got a rugby player. He opens the book. He goes, "Let me tell you who that is." He goes, "Oh, shit. I don't even have him in the book." So that was our fun little story of the weekend. We got 3 straight J.J. Watt jerseys. Mine's on eBay. I gave Dell the large. And, Al was the first one that opened it. I wouldn't be mad about J.J. Watt. I like J.J. Watt. But considering it was supposed to be a mystery and we all got the same jersey, it was kind of bullshit. So
same jersey, same sign poster.
You know what? And we'll start off by saying this is the guy that Pat shouldn't have left and let go last year. You know what I mean? Little Brady double stitch, you feel? Got that they let him walk. And we got fucking noodle arm, Cam Newton. So that's where we're at for the Pats. So, free agency is a big thing, we let these big players walk and you get stuck with shit. So
nice piece of shit.
Let's move right into it. We'll start with Mr. Dak Prescott, QB of the Dallas Cowboys. Dacky is, I think, super underrated. He got hurt super bad during the season. I watched his ankle blow up. It was not fun to watch. The poor bastard was trying to get paid. He was balling out. He was, on pace for like a crazy amount of numbers, like 6,000-yard season or some crazy shit. Like the first, I think it was 4 or 5 games he got in.
After he was injured, he was still leading the league in passing yards for 3 weeks.
It's ridiculous. The guy was completely eating. They have a great offense, and then that team just completely fell apart in shambles. He got hurt. The whole O-line got hurt. Zeke wasn't playing very good. And, the whole defense
was off in Cabo.
Yep, Zeke was still in Cabo. But yeah, to me, when I look at Dak Prescott and the whole situation there with the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are going to franchise tag him this year. I think he's going to stay with the Cowboys, and I think that he's going to get franchise tag, which is obviously you make a lot of money playing franchise tag, but it's not the long-term deal he's looking for. I think they're going to franchise tag him just because out of an organizational standpoint, they're going to be like, how are we going to pay, a crazy amount of money to this dude if he just had this huge serious injury and we haven't even seen him play since. So I think they're going to franchise tag him this year and pay him next year, long term, if he plays good this year.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones is a scumbag.
Oh yeah,
he's a fucking dirty rat.
He's a
We
scumbag.
want to pay him last year, and he got lucky. Dude had the horseshoe from God up his ass that the dude got hurt. I mean, like he would have been on pace to pay him even more money if he played the whole season.
That's why I don't mind when players sit out, because you know what I mean. You're risking your whole entire career on a payday that you might never see.
Especially with football, it's like so high risk, so many injuries. The careers are so short. It's like most players, they get like that one payday if they're lucky, and like that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak left big enough of a mark to that team, and he sets himself up every week as a leader, and I think that they have their guy there. I don't know why they haven't paid him. Now they're not going to pay him because they're not going to be sure he's going to come back the same, so they're going to franchise tag him. So that's just what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else, even though I think he should. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. That offense is really good. He has a lot of weapons around him. That O-line is good when they're healthy. I think that he'll be back next year with the Cowboys on a franchise tag for a lot of money. That's what I think is going to happen.
It's like $38 million, I think.
Yeah, franchise tag is bad for the organization. It's pretty much just like, you know what, we can't do anything right now with you, but we really want to keep you. So here's a shit ton of money to stay for a year. That's pretty much what the franchise tag is.
Yep.
So I don't know. Anybody else have any, anything else to say?
I'd like to see Dak somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think he's a great quarterback, but
I do too.
You know, that organization doesn't do anybody right. The guy running it is a straight scumbag. So I don't know.
He is.
I think he's going to leave eventually, but I'd take the $38 million too. I mean,
pretty hard to pass.
It is what it is. Because then you're auditioning for everybody else too.
Yeah, he wants the long-term closure, and I get it. But I think that'll come. I think he'll come back next year. I think even stronger. I don't think this isn't going to stop him from being a great player. I think he showed a lot last year, and I think it'll continue. But I think he will be with the Cowboys. But anybody else think he's going to go anywhere else?
No, I think the
I wish
Cowboys
he would go to the
him.
Pats, but there's no shot.
Yeah, I would love to see him
going to dish out the money.
But what are you?
I'd like to see him anywhere other than Dallas, but
I agree.
Jerryland.
At this point, he's going to be there.
He'll be stuck for a while. So let's move on to some big name wide receivers. Let's go. We got Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and Kenny Golladay, all free agents this year. Start with Chris Godwin. Where do you guys see him going? Do you think he's staying in Tampa? Do you guys think he's going to get shipped off somewhere? What do you guys think is going to happen?
He's going to have to take a pay cut to stay in Tampa, but he very well could stay in Tampa. And if he's going to go for the money, I don't know. I could see him going many different places. A lot of people would love his talents.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Mike, what do you think?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm almost like buying into the Tampa Bay culture after that season they just had. So even if he signs for like a 2-year deal just to stick around until Brady's done, because they're thinking about extending Brady even further. Now he's saying he's going to play past 45. So how the hell can you pass up getting paid plus getting more rings? You know, I don't know. He's still so young. He's like 25. Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I think he's like 24.
He could literally sign a 2 or 3 year deal, get paid like a good chunk of money. Because I know like Mike Evans and some of the other veteran guys are going to take pay cuts. And they could run it back. They could easily just run it back. And then once he hits like 27, 28, he could sign somewhere else.
Oh, so, yeah.
Honestly, I'm kind of buying into Bruce Arians saying his ass isn't going anywhere. I think he actually is going to stay.
No, I would really like to see him stay too, because I mean, realistically, like I'm a part-time Tampa fan now because of Brady. So sorry, not sorry. Like if the Patriots aren't in it, then I'm rooting for them. That's my favorite player. My favorite player ever. I don't give a fuck. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, everybody can suck a dick that thinks otherwise. Like, honestly, because it's like you have a guy here for 6 years doing everything he can for this team, and he leaves the team and the organization, and now you're gonna hate him because they're on a different team. Fuck no. That's my favorite player of all time, and I'm gonna support his ass wherever he goes, as long as the Patriots aren't playing him. So that's my motto on it. If the Patriots are playing him, then I'm gonna root for my Pats. So I'm still a Pats fan at the end of the day, but if he's not in it, I'm rooting for the Bucs. Anyways, Chris Godwin, the only thing that scares me about him leaving potentially Tampa is Levante David's huge contract that he wants. He's at the end, not the end, but the back end of his career now, and he wants a huge payday. He wants to be the highest paid linebacker in the league. And I think that the defense is more important to keep intact, to be quite honest with you. And I think that Chris Godwin right now is expendable because they have so much depth at the wide receiver position. They have AB, Tyler Johnson, a young rookie that played really good last year. Scotty Miller, a young rookie that played really well last year. They have guys that can, step in and replace Chris Godwin. Obviously not as good probably as Chris Godwin, but they have guys that, if AB has a season that he had a few years ago, then, they can replace Chris Godwin. Levante Davis is a little bit harder to replace. You know what I mean? But the thing is with me is like if they sign Levante David, then I think it's pretty much impossible to bring back Chris Godwin. If they let Levante David go, then I think that Chris Godwin will stay.
To be honest, I mean, just the way that Devin White has really emerged, I would almost let Levante David walk, considering he's past 32 years old. He's already been on the franchise for years. He's been paid he's the definition of a company guy. He stuck around throughout all the shit years. But if you want to be one of the top paid linebackers in the league when most linebackers are already like retired, and he was in the back. He was basically like a supporting cast member for a large chunks of plays in a large part of the season because of the emergence of these younger guys. and then dudes like Shaq Barrett, JPP also popping off. So I would almost just let him be. I would,
I could see that. I could definitely see him leaving because, I mean, he played out his contract. He wants the big money now, and he won a ring. He just won a ring. I mean, why not? Explore a nice venture into that, multi-million-dollar contract that he's going to go get.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone is going to pay him. Like realistically, if you're thinking about the Bucks right now, they're kind of in a position where they're not like ready to, they're not in a rebuilding stage at all. So like, I feel like the young talent doesn't matter as much for them. They have a 50. All right, he's going to be fucking not 50. He's going to be 44 next year. Brady's
going to be 375.
Yeah, pretty much. He'll be playing until he's 75, but he's going to be 44. They have a 44-year-old quarterback. They got Gronk, who's made of glass and shells, but he played really good last year, and he impressed me. I didn't think he was going to come play out that good. And maybe they try to keep that young core on the offense with Brady. I don't know. Lavonte David, like you said, Mike, is not the best linebacker on that team anymore. Devin White 100% is. So I think they can afford to lose Lavonte David and still be an elite defense as long as that D-line stays the way it is. With the kind of money that he wants to, he's not really being a team player. You see the captain, Mike Evans, taking pay cuts to keep that team together. Like that's what he should want to do is like take a moderate contract for the rest of the team. I think is going to be the reason why he ends up going somewhere else if he doesn't take a lower paycheck. Like that's what's going to come down to it.
I mean, he stuck around through the shit years, so that's like props to him, and ended up paying off in the long run because he got the ring. You know what I mean? He's had great success. He's been one of the best linebackers in the league, even though he hasn't been talked about. But at the same time, that whole time, he's still been played a handsome amount. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. But if you're looking at it from a GM standpoint, yes, the defense is definitely the far higher priority, but you also have to look at, there's a lot more to it. You have to look at age, you have to look at contract, you have to, what makes sense money-wise. So if it don't make money, it don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Even from his standpoint, getting up there in age, and injuries happen, it's just part of the game, and you got to have that guaranteed money, to back yourself up.
Yeah.
You want your family to eat.
I think realistically what's going to happen with this situation is Godwin will stay the thing is, if both of them can stay, if they both are taking moderate paychecks, but whatever one's more greedy is going to get chipped off. That's what I think is going to happen. So whoever wants to, they both want to get paid. I mean, Godwin's off his rookie deal now, so he wants to make money. That his rookie deal, you don't make a lot of money. So he wants to get paid at least more than that. So he's going to have to, kind of be moderate. Like I said, I would do what Mike did. Maybe he's so young that I'd maybe stay around for another, sign for another year or two and see if you can win another one with Brady and then get a payday after.
He'd only be 27, 28 years old at that point if you did a 2 or 3 year deal. Then it's like you're just hitting your prime anyway. Like he's already an elite wide receiver. He's 25. Like he could literally stick around, get some more rings, have some more good times, and then go get paid and go play for like some shit team. The rest, but then he takes that pay cut. Spring training comes. He tears his ACL. Then he doesn't see that money no more. True.
So it's almost I collect some rings or take care of my family in the long run. Tough decision. Good thing I don't have to make it.
I mean, these dudes get paid so much. They should be able to take care of their family after 1-2 paydays. Not even, you know what I mean? Like if they get paid the one big one, that should literally have them be set if they're smart with their money. But even like just going like the NFL, like this dude is still making millions. Like think about that. Like for us, like this is money like we'll likely like never whiff.
Oh, no doubt. But, if the money's on the table, why not take it?
Yeah. I mean, he has the ring now, too. So it's like, whatever. He's not.
Exactly. Yeah, he has pretty much all the rings.
And he's young. He could play out this contract he signs and go to a contender after that. You don't know what's going to happen.
We'll see what happens, but we'll move on. That one's a tricky one, considering all the talent they have to re-sign. So, all right, let's move on to Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is a guy that let me tell you right now, I would love to see him on the Patriots. He's been on shit teams his whole career. Got, drafted by the Jaguars. They stunk the whole time he was there. Got sent to the Bears. They stunk the whole time he was there. He needs to go to a contender or, a team that has any sort of chance to coach him up, be, a great team that he can grow on. I think he's only about 28 or 29 right now. So he's still in the mid part of his career right now. So he's right in the middle of his prime. I think he's super underrated, super talented, great deep threat. He's exactly what the Patriots need, and I would love to see the Patriots get him.
Outside, inside, he gets like 10 plus catches a game. He's gets close to like 15 targets a game on the Bears. He has trash Trubisky and Big Dick Nick throwing to him.
He hasn't had one good quarterback, Mike, and he's putting up crazy numbers.
Dude, when he was
he
on
has some of the best
Jags,
hands ever.
Bortles, so
Exactly.
no, honestly,
his hands are unbelievable.
Than Bortles.
He has some of the best hands I've ever seen, like literally best hands I've ever seen, and he also is one of the best high pointers of the ball that I've ever seen. He goes up against any guy and takes it right over his head every time. Every time.
Yes, he does.
So he's a
underrated route runner too.
I think he's a top 10 receiver in the league. He never gets talked about.
Easily.
He never gets talked about ever. And he's super healthy. He's super consistent. That's what you want. Like that's an ideal wide receiver. He's a perfect build for wide receiver. I would love to see the Pats get him. That's like a dream scenario for me. I don't know where else can you guys see him? You guys think he's staying with the Bears? He hasn't been talking to the
I'd love to see him go to the Packers. I think that would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
We were looking at him when he was leaving Jacksonville. The Packers were looking at him, and then of course the Bears get him.
Well, that was
of course screw everything up because the Bears suck. So I think he should stick it to the Bears. Go to Green Bay. He'll be with Aaron Rodgers coming off of an MVP year. I think he would be. I think he could get 1,500 yards. He'll be. Be a Pro Bowl wide receiver. He'll be phenomenal.
That would be pretty lethal. Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson. That'd be pretty lethal. That'd be tough to stop.
I mean, there's a couple of places I see him going. He's 28. He's already had a bit of a payday. He's paid with 2 trash bag organizations. Honestly, I think that he goes to one of those contending teams that are in dire need of a wide receiver. So I could see him, with the Steelers losing Juju. They're probably going to lose Juju Smith, and they have Claypool and Johnson. I could see him going there, being the new front man. Or I could see him going, more likely to me would be the Colts, now that they've added Carson Wentz and they have T.Y. Hilton, who's just I think he's done. T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton's also a free agent, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so exactly.
So they might lose him. There could be a swap there, yeah.
Then they could just add Allen Robinson, and then boom. Like that team is already – it was a contender last year. If you can get Carson Wentz even playing somewhat at a high level, you know what I mean? Like that could potentially be a match made in heaven. You add Allen Robinson in the mix, and that defense is elite, the best defense.
You know what team really needs him? The team that needs him is the Baltimore Ravens. That's a team that needs him.
Not if Lamar can't fucking hit the ball with 15 yards.
Lamar's not great, but he doesn't. He also has no great receivers, so he could definitely be a difference maker for the Ravens as well.
I do like Hollywood Brown, but he's a little bit of a deep threat, and his under routes are just a little.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to get hit by a linebacker, and I don't blame him. He's about
tiny.
$160.
He's not very big.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't blame him. But Lamar definitely needs to throw the ball. I mean, look at what Josh Allen. He had he was throwing like 50%, and then he's an MVP candidate with how many touchdown passes. Lamar needs to just throw the ball all offseason. Throw it. And then, he could definitely step his game up big time. It's crazy to be saying that, too, because he's an MVP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll get better.
It's insane.
I think.
I think so. He's very young.
At Lamar Jackson point, I think he will get better. At throwing the ball, he is like, I think 23 right now or 22. He's super, super young. And he has a lot of time to develop. I think they do need another wide receiver. Their running game is starting to evolve. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be really good next year. But we can talk about that in a different video. Overall, I think Allen Robinson would be big for them. I just think they need a big-time wideout, and I see him leaving the Bears. So I think it's realistic to say that they could be looking at him. Like I said, I really, 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 really want him on the Patriots. Like, that's a guy that I love that's completely slept on, and I know you feel the same way, Joe, about your pack. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think we need to make some type of splash with a wide receiver.
Totally agree on my end, too, my friend. Anything else to say about Allen Robinson, Mike? What do you think?
No, I mean, I think the Colts should be the favorite, and if they're not looking at him at all, then they're just dumb. We'll see if the Wentz trade makes them look dumb too, but that'll be in the future. That'll be fun.
The Colts. I think Wentz could actually be good with the Colts. We'll talk about, like I said, we can talk about the landing spots after when every free agent lands or whatever. We'll do another one talking about all the good spots that they landed in. But I think Wentz, that's a good move for them. I think that's a guy that has experience, that has a lot of potential. Almost won the MVP a couple of years back if he didn't get hurt. He has definitely a lot of potential. Could be good with the Colts. Great O-line, great run game. And, I think that their young rookie receiver, Michael Pittman, too, I think he's going to step up. I think he'll be good next year as well. They have some decent tight ends, Jack Doyle and the other guy they have there. I forget his name. But they have, a pretty good team overall. Defense is solid, too. So I think that would be a great fit for him as well, going to contender right away. As long as Carson Wentz pans out, I can't see why that team wouldn't make the playoffs next year. So I definitely like the landing spot too if they have the cap space. That's the big thing.
I like that. I like that move as well. I think Carson Wentz got a big chip on his shoulder. I think he's going to play pretty well. I think on the Colts behind that defense.
I think
good run game
and a great O-line.
So I could definitely see that move.
He was running for his fucking life back there. The Eagles could not protect him at all.
Yeah, he's a pocket passer. You can't.
Yeah,
you got to put an O-line around the guy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a great fit. It's a great fit for him. So good for him. But wrap it up with the wide receivers, the big time ones at least. For now, we can talk about Kenny G. Personally, for me, I think Kenny G is an incredible receiver. I do think he's going to end up staying with the Lions. I think they're going to franchise tag him. I don't think he's going to stay long term until he sees what's going on here. Because if I was a receiver big time and I wanted to start winning, I wouldn't be wanting to sign a long term extension with the Lions, no matter how much money they paid me. Because if you're Kenny G, you can get paid anywhere else the same amount of money. So I think that he's going to be, kind of stubborn, not want to really trade, but I think they're going to give him a contract he can't pass up. So I think he'll take another franchise tag for this year. I think he'll stay with the Lions.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they have no choice but to franchise him with him and Jones, both free agents. They're going to lose them both if not.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit's just a dying franchise. They don't even really compete.
Detroit's
it is what it is.
Good ever. It's been so tough for them.
Really
I feel bad. Dude, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, props to you. Like, you've been fucking loyal. Because
I love them. I love them because I freaking beat them every year. You know what I mean? It's great. I know it's 2 wins every year. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you think he's going to go anywhere, Mike? Or do you think he's going to be stuck there?
No, he's going to get tagged, dude. Marvin Jones ain't staying. There's no shot. They
can't lose them both.
He'll probably end up with the Pats, to be honest. They've been looking at him for a little while. They can get him at the low end.
Let's wrap up let's wrap up the receivers with Marvin Jones, Will Fuller, and Juju. Do little quick tidbits on them. So those are the last couple big receivers that are out there. Marvin Jones, I do think will leave. I think he's going to be out. There's a couple teams I could see him going to. I think the Dolphins will be another good fit. The Dolphins need a couple more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Patriots definitely like Marvin Jones. I'd love to see him come on the Pats as well. Don't think he's a true number one receiver, to be quite honest with you. He has a little bit of injury history. He's I think he's over 30 years old now as well. Not that that's a problem. He's a great receiver, and he has a lot of potential out there. I think on a new team he'd really do good. But receivers, actually, if you look in the history of free agents leaving and going to new teams, receivers need at least a year usually to completely transfer over unless they're like an ascending talent. You know what I mean? Receivers don't just translate over right away because they need to learn a new offense, they need to get connection with the quarterback. It takes a little bit of time. You've seen some of the past disasters they brought in. Chad Ochocinco completely sucked for us. Some of the other guys you brought in just weren't panning out. So it's just like you got to hope that he pans out. But I think he will get the talent too. Trying to think anywhere else. I think the Pats are a great fit. I think the Dolphins are a good fit. Throw them out there if you guys think of anybody else.
I see the Jets. The Jets they're not a bad fit.
Jets definitely need a wideout. I agree. He's gonna want to go to a contender though. I think he's been losing for too long.
Yeah, that's for sure. I could see him sticking it to them and staying in the NFC North. Could probably go to Chicago, but it depends on the Allen Robinson situation.
Yeah, it really does. There's a lot that can happen there. I'm trying to think, really. The Chargers would be a cool fit for him, going to play with Herbert, playing as a number 2 behind Keenan Allen. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love that team. I think they're going to take a huge step next year.
If they can stay healthy, they'd be a great team. They really would. They just never are healthy, so they'll have to figure that out. But yeah, those are probably my top 3 landing spots. I think the Dolphins, the Pats, or the Chargers. That's what I'm gonna think he's gonna land. One of those 3. Will Fuller is super, super talented. He is always doing good things every year. He just can't stay healthy. And this year he had PED. So that's the only reason, people think they only stay healthy because of that.
I was super upset when they were talking about Green Bay trading for him, midway through the season, and they didn't get him. And I'm like, oh man. Then a game later he tests positive, and I'm like, oh,
there it is.
They made the right move.
Yeah. But, so that Will Fuller's
you can't really.
He's an unbelievable deep threat. I'm trying to think of other teams that would be good for him. Any team like Pats would be a great fit for Will Fuller. We need a deep threat that's so desperately bad. Trying to think of them on Colts, good fit.
And that's something else I could see too with that whole PED coming up and the injuries and everything is how many people are going to be willing to give a bag to him? You know what I mean? How many people are going to be like opening up their wallet, like, here you go, like take it all. You know what I mean? It's like, can't stay on the field. And one time you do, it's like, okay, roids. Yeah. Like
his suspension goes into this year as well, doesn't it?
It might. It was an 8-game suspension, correct?
Yeah, I think he has a couple games left. I think
it's 2 games because it was about 6 games left in the season when that happened.
I wonder if preseason games count for that. I don't know how that works.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. You can still play the preseason and do the whole off-season program, but then regular season, you can't even go to the facility.
No. That's fine. So he's going to lose a couple game checks either way.
Yeah, so that is honestly, that's probably the more likely scenario, just based off of all that drama going on and question marks, is the Texans are probably the only one willing to pay him a bag because they're super desperate to keep Watson, and they're like, okay, like this dude's a stud wide receiver. Here is a connection with Watson. We do whatever it takes to keep Watson, even though he's never going to stay here.
No.
They'll probably get super desperate, and I'm just giving them a boatload of money.
They might as well just blow it all up because I don't think either one of those guys want to play for them anymore.
I don't think
they have just let the whole franchise down, really.
Nobody in their right mind wants to play for them. They're awful.
Yeah, they're really bad. They're a joke of an organization. I hope they can turn it around, but I doubt it. But realistically, if they somehow persuade Deshaun Watson to stay, I think Will Fuller will stay. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Will Fuller will leave as well. And they're going to have to do a complete rebuild on everything in Houston. They're going to get a shit ton of draft picks from Deshaun Watson and everything, so they'll be set up to rebuild. And they'll get probably some good players in return. But there's a couple teams that he'd be good on. I think the Washington football team too. They really need another wide receiver to add in with Terry McLaurin. That would be a great place for someone else. They got to find a quarterback. Maybe it's Heineke. You have one good game. Who knows? He got paid from one good game. Good for him. But they might drop the quarterback. They might trade for one. Who knows? But they would be a good fit for him.
I was thinking them, but the whole unknown with the quarterback position, I feel like would throw him away.
Not a lot of big time receivers will want to go to a team with an unestablished quarterback. Realistically, he's trying to go to a contender that is going to come up, show up big, and he wants to be one of those big time players in the playoffs. And he hasn't had a chance to do that. So, I think Washington has a really good base team. They just need to find a quarterback. And it's unfortunate that Alex Smith is,
they're going to give him up. I think he's going to leave.
They already said
Alex Smith
with him.
And we all know how Haskins panned out for them. Chilling in the strip club and then gets tossed. Unbelievable. But
Haskins.
They definitely need to get a quarterback. I mean, they have a solid team, great coach. Defense is just trending upwards. A lot of young talent on the offense. If they can get, even a top 20 quarterback, they could be a playoff team. I mean, I know they're a playoff team, but it was kind of ridiculous. But I could see them winning 10 games if they had a decent quarterback.
Totally agree. That's a good team. They have one of the best defenses in the league, and they have a lot of young offensive weapons that are only getting better. I absolutely love Antonio Gibson. I love Terry McLaurin. They're tight end this year. Complete surprise out of left field. Logan Thomas had a great year. That team's good. That's an overall good team, and they just need a quarterback, and their solution, I think, is solved. But to wrap up the receivers, I think we should go to Juju. Obviously, he's a big name. He's a big dancing, loudmouth idiot. To me, he's fraudulent. I think that he completely showed his true colors this year. He always talked all that shit about saying he should be a number one wide receiver. As soon as AB left the team, he was a complete non-factor. He had his games, a couple, 2, 3, 4 good games this year. But if you want to call yourself a wide receiver one on a team that has other good wide receivers behind you, I think Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool both had a better year than he did. And he was technically the wide receiver one. So I don't think he deserves all the money that he's asking for. He'll go to a team that's desperate, I think, to be quite honest with you. I think he's going to go to a team that's desperate, like the Jets. Someone like that. I could see him going to the Jets 100%.
He's not as good as everyone, tried to put him on that level to be. I mean, he played next to one of the best receivers in the history of the game. You know what I mean? Antonio Brown. He's probably the best receiver in the last – from 2010 to 2020. He's the best receiver.
See, Juju is I think he'd be a lights-out number 2. I just don't see him being a number 1 anywhere. So I just think
he's going anywhere he's going to get paid.
I totally agree.
It doesn't even matter what the team is. He could go – he could end up in Jacksonville. as long as someone pays him more money than the other team, he's going to go.
See, Jacksonville, I can realistically see that happening. You know why? Because they're going to get a man named Trevor Lawrence this year, and who doesn't want to play with Trevor Lawrence? You know what I mean? So it's like, they're not going to be great right away, but you're getting a franchise guy right off the bat, most likely. You know what I mean? So it's like I could see definitely the Jaguars making a splash and getting a big time wide receiver to add into their arsenal there too, because they could actually use one too with alongside DJ Chark. I think they could use another one. So. I could definitely see Jaguars as a good fit for him. I think I definitely think so. Any team that I think to me he's just not a number one. So I think he'd be a lifetime number two anywhere that he gets. Anywhere that he goes.
If he goes to a contender, he's a number three, but he's not going to because the money's not there for him.
Dude, for me, I just wouldn't pay him as a top wide receiver. He get middle of the class stuff. Not bad money, but he's talented, no question, but. On my team, he'd be a number two. He would not be a number one. On my team.
I still think he's going to get, honestly, between $8 and $11 million a year.
I agree.
Which is ridiculous.
I think he's going to go.
It's ridiculous.
That's why I think he's going to go to the Jets. Right now, I'm calling it.
It's ridiculous. It's dishing out money for a guy like that. Dancing on the middle of the field, like that can't happen.
I think he's going to go to the Jets or the Jaguars. That's my prediction for him. Jets or
Jaguars. I agree.
It's not even like he's T.O. and he's like a freak athlete. He's one of the best to ever play the game. No. He's balling. He's getting touchdowns. He's making people look like little girls out there. This dude's just dancing and getting his fucking ass whooped every single game. What the hell are you doing? Like, then he had to have he had to have like the coach and the team and everybody sit down and tell him to stop because he's like, nah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm keep being me. It's like, bro, you look like a fucking goofy. Like we're losing games. Boy, goofy.
You go on to another team, you walk into the locker room, you do that in the first game, you're getting called out. I mean, these guys are grown men. That shit's not going to fly. It's just not.
If he tried that shit on the Pats, dude, fucking Billy B put him on the bench.
Billy B would cut him. Forget about the bench.
Yeah.
Billy B would cut him and put a scarlet letter on him. He'd never get signed again.
He's cut
be over. Be all done.
Let's transition now a little bit. Let's talk about something that Dill is close to home about, Mr. Aaron Jones.
Free Aaron Jones.
Oh, Aaron Jones, dude. You think he's gone, Dill?
Oh, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, I unfortunately think
that I'm smiling right now, but he's not going to sign with the Packers, and I'm going to be real bullshit about it, to be honest with you.
I'm playing bullshit!
I think he might end up with the Fins. I have a feeling he might go to the Fins. Onto a good team.
Looking that way.
And they had Myles Gaskin. Like I think they are going to look to upgrade that position. They're just going to try to surround Tua with talent. I really think this year. So I could definitely see them if they miss out on a big time wide receiver. I could definitely see him ending up with the Fins because obviously he's going to want a payday. He's a great running back. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was pushing for him, man. When he was the first couple of years in the league, I'm like, put him in. He's going to be unbelievable. He has over 20 touchdowns last year. This year he has like 12 or so. Mm-hmm. I mean, every time I feel like Aaron Rodgers gets any talent, the Packers don't want to sign anybody. They don't want to pay the money. And then they don't do anything on defense. So it's like, it just sucks. You know what I mean? You got to sign Aaron Jones, in my opinion. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, he's good. I will say, though, running back is definitely the most replaceable position in the NFL, in my opinion. They're just all elite athletes. And, if you have a good enough O-line, a good enough coaching scheme, usually a running back could just run through the hole and get the job done for you. You're not going to get a transitional talent like Aaron Jones, but you know what I mean? You can find someone that's a good replacement. The Patriots were always great at doing that. They don't, if you have good coaching, you have a good offensive mind, you have a good, decent O-line, you can get by with another running back. And, I think that the Pack will be fine, especially because they got Jamal Williams. I think AJ Dillon will be better too this year. He'll get a lot more playing time if he leaves, obviously. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If he stays in green, he goes to the Jets. He's going to chase that bag.
I agree. I totally can see him just going for a paycheck, ending up with the Jets or the Texans. I'm dead ass.
Well, wherever he goes, I'm rooting for him because, that's my guy. I got to sign football. I got to sign Aaron Jones football. You know what I mean?
See, and it's the same thing for me and Brady, Dylan, but people give me shit for it.
Yeah, I love Aaron Jones. I was just because I was pushing for him,
That's right, and I'm pushing for Brady. I'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
I'm pushing for JJ, bro. JJ.
Have fun with JJ Watt. I'm so happy we didn't sign him, man. Oh.
I love JJ. Dylan, you're gonna hate me, but the year that it was JJ Rodgers for MVP, I think JJ got robbed.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think so, man. Get out of here.
I think he's either going to end up with the Dolphins on a contender team like that, or he'll end up on one of the teams that really, really desperately need a running back that just completely suck. Like, I think he might end up to me, the top 3 teams, he'll end up either on the Dolphins, the Jets, or the Houston Texans. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I get the
Green Bay, sign Jones. You retards. Don't let him go.
There's certain guys that I'm just going to skip over to when I bring them up. Like, I don't think like Shaq Barrett's not going to go anywhere. They're going to sign him. Shaq Barrett's going to be signed. He's going to be staying in Tampa. Gronk's going to re-sign in Tampa. So I'm not even going to bring them up.
Gronk won't play without Tom Brady.
No shot.
Can't be bothered. You ever hear that story? He got traded to the Colts and he retired. And then
he said the Patriots. They're thinking about trading to the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions.
That's who it was, the Lions. And he's like, "You can't trade me. I'm retired."
Yep.
So the next year he played with the Pats. It's awesome. I like Gronk, so I don't blame him.
Everybody loves Gronk. He's just a funny guy.
Oh, alphabet soup is my favorite too.
What's a albafet?
Nothing. What you said is not anything.
Good guy. There is some big boy defensive players on here too that could potentially be on the move. Guy that really stepped up this year, Leonard Williams for the Giants. He had an unbelievable year this year. He had, I think, over 10 sacks, from the nose tackle position. So, he had a great year. I think, to me, they're going to re-sign him in New York. I think that they have a pretty solid defense up and coming right now, and that team has potential if their offense can put it together. Their defense actually showed a lot of hot flashes this year, and they have a pretty decent secondary, pretty good defensive mind, coaching, and I think that he'll end up getting re-signed there.
I think that's a guy any team should break the bank for, especially with that young, that much talent, that much athleticism. A good defensive tackle is irreplaceable on any team. Like I
miss Will Fork so badly, and I would love to see him on the Pats as well. Leonard Williams, come on over. Come to the Patriots.
Yeah, anybody who can clog that middle, it's tough to get somebody like that,
They're
really
irreplaceable. You look at any.
They absolutely are.
They have that guy that's anchor in the middle.
Find a guy that's playing nose tackle that has 10 plus sacks.
Yeah, and can stop the run.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like getting sacks from the nose tackle position, we're in the middle of the line. That is so hard. I'm almost 100% positive he had 10 plus sacks this year. I'm 100% positive. I think they'd be crazy not to re-sign him, in my opinion. So I think that's what they'll do with him. Looking at the list again, Justin Simmons. That's a big who? Hunter
Henry and Jonnu Smith, 2 tight ends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But let's talk about them. Hunter Henry. I think, Bill actually loves Hunter Henry. I don't think we're going to get him. I think personally he's going to stay with the Chargers. That's what I think is going to happen. That's an up-and-coming team. He's pretty young. They got the quarterback now. They got a lot of talent. I just don't see them letting him walk. So
yeah, you can't take the rookie quarterback security blanket away. Not after 1 year.
No, I think they're going to re-sign Hunter Henry. I just have a gut feeling that he's not going to go anywhere. What do you think, Mike?
Same. It's sad because those Chargers teams are so talented, and they actually were in a lot of close games this year. But literally, it always comes back to the coaching. Always.
That's why they got a new coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony Lynn's gone now, so we'll see how the new guy does. And
I like Anthony Lynn. I think he's a good coach. I just think the fit was bad. It was just a bad fit.
And he just had really, really bad luck too. They were in really, really close games. They almost beat the Chiefs like twice this year. You know what I mean? Like, they had some really, really good games down to the wire. They just, at the end of the day, the win column is all that matters. And he didn't get the good end of the stick there. And, they had so many injuries. So it's like, how do you
lose by 1 or 20? You're still off.
Yeah.
He was there for several years. They have been talented every year, never got the job done. They go to the playoffs to get absolutely blown out. And his record wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't that good of a record, Maybe he can do like a Todd Bowles, or he can go and get like a coordinator job and turn around, and then
exactly
maybe get like another chance. I mean, I was shocked beyond belief that Todd Bowles, and then I forget his name, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. They both basically got like blackballed. They both should have.
Oh yeah, coaches. The enemy should have had a freaking job, man. That's bullshit.
Him of all people, he should have been number one. We're number one.
I mean, Todd Bowles, I understand because he absolutely fell flat in his face.
Yeah,
but Eric Bieniemy, I mean, geez, man, that guy has top 5 offense every fucking year, and he gets screwed over like that. I mean, Look at some of the guys, and then a lot of teams took offensive guys. I mean, if you put him on the Falcons, that team could have went. You know what I mean? Right back into playoff contention again.
Yeah.
After a shitty 4-11 season.
They're like one. I'd say two on the safe side. They're like two decent defenders away from legit being a playoff team again. Because you could see, even when they got rid of Dan Quinn, they were competing in games again. It was all
no doubt about it.
Stretch, you know.
But can you imagine like those offensive weapons with Eric Bieniemy? I mean, he could have them flying 30 points a game.
I really think
even with Matty Ice.
I really think some teams' offices were looking at Eric Bieniemy and they were just like, you know what team has a talent like Patrick Mahomes? So it's like they probably just like, this team does not. We don't have the talent that team has, so I don't think it's going to work. I really think that's what might have happened at that point.
Been there for years though, even when they had Alex Smith, and they were still a good offense.
Yeah,
they were good with Alex Smith.
Yeah,
I think
they were still a playoff team, one of the top teams.
And they have a better defense now than when Alex Smith was playing there.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves a job, but I mean, it just doesn't. That's not how it works sometimes, I guess. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonnu Smith, that's a big one too. I think, to me, I that's another guy. I can't see them letting him go. He just had such a good year. Tannehill has been playing unbelievable. I know. I really had a lot of faith in Tannehill when he was in Miami. It just was Miami was just so bad back then, and he had really no help at all. And he put together a decent season usually every year, battling through injuries and everything else and the rest of the shit that team is going through. So I think that Jonnu Smith will end up staying with the Titans. That's a damn good team. They're only going to get better. A lot of young talent on that team. I don't see them letting him walk. I think he'll get paid this year. I think Corey Davis will go. I think he'll get paid.
Exactly what I was just going to say. You're not going to let two top options leave.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you're going to have to take one of them.
I really think Jonnu Smith's the more important one.
And I mean, Jonnu Smith is a great player, but he's not going to get paid like Corey Davis, I don't think. So you got to take him.
I think wide receivers just in general get paid more. But Jonnu Smith is Tannehill's security blanket. He is the guy that he looks for in the end zone almost every play. He had 10-plus touchdowns this year, I believe. So, Jonnu Smith had an unbelievable year. I think they're going to keep him around. And, yeah, that's pretty much what I would say about that one. Mike, you think anything else?
Same. I don't think I'm a huge skeptic when it comes to dudes who have like one breakout season. It's like I'm all about consistency. Like, can you do it year after year after year after year? Like, that's what I look for. Like, at least if I was a GM in terms of who I'm going to pay, who I'm not going to pay, especially in the NFL where it's such boom cut, like your career's done. That's why a guy like a Tom Brady or like Aaron Rodgers is so good because they do it every single year, regardless of who's around them. So that's why I always look for it. And that's probably why he's going to stay. He's not going to get as big of offers as people think.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's slept on, and I think he still will continue to be slept on. I think he'll get a better contract this year, but he's still not talked about as one of the better tight ends in the league, and I think he is. They got to pay him.
They got to pay him based on the production.
Yeah, he had an unbelievable year, so he deserves it.
And very underrated rush blocker for Derrick Henry.
Blocker, yeah.
Very underrated. He opens up a lot of space on the outside for that big man to go.
He's a big man too.
Yeah, he is.
Damn right. Another big name too. Justin Simmons, the safety for the Broncos. Very good young safety. He's 27 and he is really, really good. And that's a team that's only a couple pieces away from contending again if they stay healthy. And that they find the quarterback situation. They figure that out. Maybe Drew has the answer. He's probably getting another year. Who knows? But I really do have a feeling Deshaun Watson might go there. But if he doesn't, they need to figure out that quarterback situation. And I think that team's a contending team if they stay healthy. That team's loaded on offense, loaded on, they usually have some good pieces on defense too. They might lose Von Miller this year. That's another free agent. Von Miller is also a free agent. So we can touch on both of these guys right now. I think that Justin Simmons will stay, I think, on a franchise tag. I think he's going to get franchise tagged. And I think Von Miller will actually leave the Broncos. I think he'll go somewhere else. I think we'll go on a team that needs a pass rusher that is a contender. I think he's going to want to go to another contender. He's on the back nine of his career. I don't see him going anywhere that is a team that needs to be rebuilt. He wants to go to a team that's going to compete right now. And unless they could bring in Deshaun Watson, I don't see him staying. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yep.
I think
they're both going to stay?
Simmons will get tagged, most likely. Otherwise, they're going to have to break the fucking bank for him because he is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And their secondary just is nowhere near as good as it used to be. And then Von Miller, I mean, he strikes me as a real company guy. You know, he's been around there for a while. He's the captain. He's the leader of that team. And then him and Bradley Chubb, they haven't really been on the same – they haven't been on the field together healthy since Chubb's really been injured. I know Chubb was injured and Von Miller was injured, so they could absolutely be scary. They could be a nightmare. I thought they were going to be a nightmare this year, but obviously Von Miller got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally just a quarterback away. Quarterback and maybe like one player on defense away from being a legit team, you know? And they're still very young.
Good fits for him would be the Browns. I think you add another pass rusher. They need defense right now, the Browns. They have the offense pretty much figured out, in my opinion. They need defense. The secondary is their biggest concern, but if they add in another elite pass rusher with Myles Garrett, that would be awesome. And the Browns could definitely take a look at him. I also think the Packers would be a great fit. They need another pass rusher along with Darius Smith. I think the Packers would be a great fit for him. The Patriots could desperately use him. I'm just going to say the Patriots for fucking everybody because we need a lot of people.
They definitely need.
Yeah, we need players so badly. We can't get any pressure on the quarterback at all. So
the Packers, I feel like we need more of. We need a middle linebacker.
We need everything.
Yeah.
We need everything. So we'll put the Pats in there, and then a team like the Seattle Seahawks that have up and coming secondary, but their pass rush is non-existent. So it's like that's a team that I could definitely see him going to as well.
I mean, I hope the Broncos keep him. I mean, he's their marquee franchise player. I mean, he's the guy, you know what I mean? When you see a Broncos game, it's Von Miller. But
yeah,
I mean, it's almost time for them to have a breakup because, I mean, he's won the Super Bowl there, had the unbelievable game he had against Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, and I mean, he's just kind of been limping around. He's had a couple good seasons, but I mean, I could definitely see a breakup. I think it works for both because, I mean, they're gonna have to pay him because he's not gonna take low money. I mean, it's Von Miller. And it's almost time to move on because they're going to have younger guys coming in. It's almost like a rebuilt team, and then you have a couple of guys left over still. So
totally agree.
Might as well just get rid of all the rest of the veterans and build everybody up. Get yourself the quarterback, whether it's in the draft or whatever. But I could see that.
Yeah, to me, it's just I don't see them putting the money out for him to stay. That's been a big money guy his whole career. He's been great since the start to finish. So I think that he's going to want big money again. I think he's going to want to win to go out as a winner, and I think that he'll end up on one of those teams that I just mentioned as a competitor. On one of the teams that are ready to win now. So that's what I think. I don't think they're going to be able to pay both of them. So I think Justin Simmons will get the paycheck because he's younger.
Yep. Yes.
I think the last two guys we should hit up was Chris Carson. Another huge running back name, still young. He's 26.
Yeah,
love Chris Carson.
And then also Joe Thuney. I mean, you got to give the fat boys some love. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Chris Carson. The Seahawks really like him. It's going to be interesting to see if they bring him back. That's a guy I can see chasing a paycheck as well. I would not be shocked at all if he ends up on the Jets. Would totally not be shocked if he ends up on the Texans, teams that just desperately need guys. I think that could be a definite fit for him, but I think Seattle could bring him back. They love the ground and pound game. They've been doing it even since they've had Russell Wilson and one of the best quarterbacks ever. So I just think that he might stay, but I think if he does leave, he's going over to the dumpster fire teams. That's my prediction on him.
Yeah, I like Chris Carson. I mean, he's a top 10 running back in the league. He's productive in the pass game. He can run. He's just not on the football field enough. That's the only issue with him. I think he can do everything for you. He can pass, block. He can run, catch. But he is a little injury prone. I mean, I had him the last couple of years in fantasy, and when you need him, he's just not there, And he's a 20-point a game guy in fantasy every week.
Totally agree. I just don't think he's going to get paid like crazy because of his injury history. That's the only problem. Yep. So I think he'll get a decent contract, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I could see Seattle, making him an offer, stay with us. But that all depends on, the Russell Wilson situation because, he's not happy there. And I don't blame him. I mean, the guy is a phenomenal player, and he just is getting chased around the field like Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl every game.
Yeah. If it comes down to picking between paying an O-lineman or paying him, he's not going to be on that team. That's simple as that.
Yep.
Because Russell Wilson should be top priority for them right now.
Yeah, I think a great player for them, which hate to say it, would be Corey Linsley, Green Bay's all-pro center that they're going to let go because they're retired.
He's talking about leaving too, yeah.
So they're idiots, you know what I mean? All-pro center. Aaron Rodgers has a great line this year, and then they're just going to let him go. You know
Let him
how
walk.
that works.
And
You
when
know
he's
how
running
that
back,
works.
come on.
You know how that works. So I think him on Seattle would be great for Russell Wilson. Definitely would put him in the right direction to want to stay there. So I don't know.
What do you think, Mike?
Based off the points you guys made, and I agree with that, I think that's why Carson will land with the Finns. They'll be able to pay him a decent amount without breaking the bank, and they'll upgrade that position. I mean, Gaskin and the dude Ahmed showed some potential, but dude, Chris Carson's a top 10 back. The dude's nasty. So
yeah, I see the Dolphins getting
around Tua.
They're going to get Carson or Jones, one of the two.
I definitely think one of them will go there as well.
Yep,
that was a good point, Mike. I didn't even think about the Finns. I think the Finns could definitely land him as well. He's going to be cheaper than Jones.
I hope the Finns sign Carson tomorrow, and then the Packers might think about keeping Jones.
I actually think that Aaron Jones will end up maybe somewhere else because of that point. I think Chris Carson, as long as they believe that his injury history won't be a problem, I think that's the better option for them because they can sign him for cheaper than Aaron Jones, and then they can also bring in a wide receiver to help out Tua. So,
and they can keep that defense that played at an elite level. It was so slept on. They were averaging the lowest points per game throughout the whole season, and they did it quietly.
They were filthy.
They were really good. Like I'm still so shocked that team did not make the playoffs.
Their back end is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw what they did to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they absolutely shut him down. They still won the game because their offense couldn't get it going. But I mean, they picked them off 3 times. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, their back end is unbelievable. I think they led the league in picks. And one of their guys led the league in picks. So Xavier Howard, yeah.
And Byron Jones is no slouch on the other side. Yeah, that's a good secondary.
Jones too, yeah.
That team, I'm pretty sure, they led the league in picks. So
great linebackers.
Yeah,
that team's gonna be good. They're 100%, in my opinion, probably locked for the playoffs as long as Tua pans out like they want him to. And that's that. Ryan Fitzpatrick's also a free agent. For him, he's probably gonna end up somewhere that he'll be on another team. Bring him to the Pats for fuck's sake. Yeah. I can't stand Cam Newton anymore. Bring him to the Pats. Anything.
If the Dolphins left Fitzpatrick on the field, I think they would have made the playoffs. I think that was the difference. And I understand, putting Tua in because Fitzpatrick's not going to be a long-term starter. He's never been that in the entire league. But
don't.
He was perfect for that team. He just was.
Don't sleep on Tua just yet. He's young. Give him time.
They could definitely use a wide receiver too. I mean, they're going to get their running back. They have Gesicki. I mean, if they get Devontae Parker, they get one more weapon. I could see them drafting. I mean, Devontae Smith. That would be a great pickup. But I don't know if they're going to take him that early.
I think that's what they're going to do. To be
I would personally. I would definitely take him at number 3.
They have the 3rd pick from Houston. So
he's a transcendent player. I think.
I agree. I think they're going to get him at 3 at the draft. I think unless he goes 1 or 2, which I don't think he will. I think he'll go to Dolphins at 3. But
I think 2 quarterbacks are going.
Let's just pivot towards the last player Mike brought up,
Thuney.
Joe Thuney.
I think arguably he's the best left guard in the league. He has missed one game since he's been drafted, and he started in 3 Super Bowls. He is nuts. He got franchise tagged by the Pats last year, almost traded. I don't think they're going to be able to retain him. He's worth too much money, and I don't think they're going to dish it out, especially with the emergence of Onwenu now. Even though I would like to keep Thuney and even let Isaiah Wynn go because Thuney could play both left tackle and left guard, so they could even draft another guard if they want to, or go tackle with that 1st-round pick, which I could see Bill doing. Because you can't fucking draft an offensive player, so there's no point other than a lineman.
No.
Realistically, I think Thuney goes to the Eagles. They desperately need an upgrade at the offensive line, and they'll be able to do that with Thuney, and he was already rumored to be going there.
And they freed up some cap space, letting Wentz walk too.
Yeah,
I love that fit. I think that's a great fit. Put him with Hurts.
I agree.
Protect them. I think that's probably the best fit, maybe.
As much as I want the Patriots to keep that solid O-line, and keep that O-line intact, our run game was one of the best, if not the best, in the league last year. And I just, it's a shame that we're gonna have to see him go. But I just think Mike's right. I don't see the Patriots. The Patriots didn't even fucking pay Tom Brady. Okay, so it's they're not paying a guard. So unfortunately, as it is, he's probably gonna leave. And I think the Eagles are a good fit. I agree with that.
And this ended up being pretty decently sized video, so we'll be able to hold off the stalemate that is the football season being out for what's it like 200 something days is the counter right now. So
It's terrible.
Back to August.
Long stretch. Hopefully this video can last some people a long time and they get some good stuff out of this. This will be up on the YouTube, Spotify, all the Anchor, the Google Podcasts, like you name it. And then obviously you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now we are on TikTok as well. So we're getting hit for all you millennials out there. We got a couple of clips on there. So
Never thought I'd be on the TikTok, but here we are.
The talk tick.